Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bells Beyond Podcast by Bell Sisters. My name is Masichi, and I am your beloved host. And I have here with me Cedrica Strickland.
Cedrica, yes.
Sorry, say that again.
Cedrica, yes.
Cedrica.
Cedrica,
Cedrica.
yes.
Okay, Cedrica. I'll start over. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bells Beyond Podcast by Bell Sisters. My name is Masichi, and I am your beloved host. And I have here with me today Cedrica Strickland, who is in a season of becoming more grounded and more intentional. She's in the season of learning to just, slow down, um, and building things with care while still honoring her ambition. She's also the founder of the Wilkins Society, and it is a business that elevates everyday essential with style and purpose. Welcome, Cedrica.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Yes, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, I am Cedrica Strickland Peacock. I have the business Wilkins Society, which provides different products such as prescription ready eyewear made out of wood. We also have our hat cases that protect our hats, which protect fedoras, cowboy hats, and baseball caps. And we are launching a new business, and we'll talk about that a little later in podcast.
Okay, so you said something that caught my attention. You said that your eyewears are made of wood.
Yes, they
All of
are.
them. All of
Yeah.
them.
hmm Yes, they are. So these that I have on are actually wood. So all of our glasses are made out of walnut, and they are prescription ready, pre-tinted for blue light. As we discussed, blue light is something that we didn't have to think about in the 80s and 70s and even like the early 90s. But as we've gotten into technology and they've started to use more LED lights and less fluorescent light and things of that nature for energy conservation, we've been exposed more to the um, effects of blue light, which I call unnatural sunlight. So I say that our glasses provide protection against unnatural sunlight with our blue light tint. So it just makes it easier when you're in offices and stores and stuff where they have so much LED light, and it makes it just easier on the eyes, give them the ability to relax with that tint.
Okay, so what's the thought process behind your glasses being made out of wood? Because that is such a unique distinction.
So I started out with the regular eyewear, and
Mhm.
you get a lot of customers that are hyperallergenic, that have hyperallergenic reactions. They, have allergies, or they have an issue with like this part of the nose, like irritated and things from different materials. And so I did an experiment with wood to just kind of see how it felt and how it reacted to the skin, because I'm an allergy kid too, so I have an allergy to a lot of different metals. And so once I tried it, and I even like I went to Las Vegas, I went to St. Thomas, I went to all the places with the glasses because I wanted to see just in different weather situations or within different environments like the beach, like how would the glasses respond with water and things of that nature. And I found that the wood was very resilient, and I didn't really have the prints and things that you get in this area.
Mhm.
And it was just cooling to the skin, and unlike the metals. And I just was like, let me go with wood. I think I'm settled. What is that? When your dust settles, my dust settled on wood.
Okay, so your the clients and the customers that you have, how did they react to that change?
They were actually pleasantly surprised because a lot of them, because I had glasses, and I still do have a few wood frames that have the metal feet. And they were
Mhm.
just kind of like, you have any without the metal feet? And so when they seen the wood, they were like, well, this is different. It's not the acetate plastic that we're used to, but it's a lot lighter. And so that's always their surprise is that the wood is so much lighter than the regular acetate glasses. So they really were very happy with the change. And also they said that they get a lot of compliments in their conversation pieces because when people look at them, they think that they're acetate and then they're like, no, it's wood. Then people see like the grains and the staining and then they're like, oh, it is wood. And it, and it just brings up the conversation about sustainables and, making change.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you did mention that you also have a second business. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, I do. We will be launching Wilkin Armory next month, which is a business that thrives on protection and also awareness. What we do is we have concealed carry products that offer locking zippers to protect tiny hands and sticky fingers from having access to the compartment where the protective device is stored. And in protective device, I mean firearm.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have a tastefully tactical approach with our bags and our products so that it's stylish, but also safe and secure. And you can be in an environment and not draw unnecessary attention to yourself with your bags because we don't want any problems until it's a problem.
Mm, I love that. We don't want any problem until it's a problem.
We don't.
Yeah. So what was it that prompted you? Well, two questions in one. First, what was it that prompted you into two of your businesses? And what was it that prompted you into entrepreneurship in general?
So I will tell you, I was a worker bee. I would have never thought in a million years I would wait till I was this age to become an entrepreneur. Um,
Mhm.
as a techie, I'm a software analyst, and when COVID hit, I spent so much time in front of the computer, and every time I ordered a pair of blue light glasses online, the tint was just full. It wasn't dark enough. It didn't provide me the adequate protection, so I was still having the headaches, and I was still having the dry eye symptoms from not having the appropriate eye protection for being on the computer all day. So YouTube University went there and was like, hey, how do I get the appropriate tint that I need for me to have, this level of protection for my eyes? Because, researching dry eye and things like that. And it said, well, you need this level of tint, but you can only get it at the optician level.
Mm,
Silly. Why would I need to go to that? I don't need prescription glasses. I just need them pre-tinted. So I started with creating the glasses with the pre-tint. And I was like, and then I was like, you know what? You want it done right, you do it yourself. So I actually started out with glasses. That was my initial business. Then I moved into hats. So I had a hat bar before it was a hat bar even in existence. I had it set up where people could, I made hat pins and ribbons and had people set up to where they could make their own hat, or
mhm,
they could actually take the pieces and dress a hat and then take them home and dress their own hat at home. So I had feathers and things like that. Hat market got a little saturated, and I was like, well, everybody has hats, but they have nothing to put them in. And so that's when I designed my hat case, which is the largest case on the market. It holds 4 to 5 fedoras and 3 to 4 10-gallon cowboy hats. And it's a backpack that allows for you to actually be able to travel with it as a personal item. So that's where I got that from. And then we got into the space where I kept seeing the babies getting hurt because they were reaching in their mama's bags or their daddy's backpacks and they were getting their protective devices out and they were shooting themselves and shooting others. And I went to the 2A community, which is the firearm community, and asked questions like, so why is it that you don't use concealed carry bags? Like what do you have against them? Because they've got tons of them out there. And everybody's
mhm,
constant complaint was, well, they're not attractive. Like I don't like any of those bags. They draw attention. When people look at the bag, they automatically know what it is. And they
mm,
don't have anything out there that's diverse. And so that's when I came up with the tastefully tactical concept. Whereas it looks like a purse and it's a regular purse, I'm not in a space to draw negative attention to myself. Just want to be where I'm at, but feel like I'm in a space where I'm safe. And so that's where I came up with the concept of not only having the bag be fashionable, but actually having the locking zippers on the bags so that the little ones can't get access. But also, if you travel, you can remove the holster and you can lock your backpack, I mean, lock your passport, your wallet, and things in that compartment. And it avoids, things getting stolen when you're in a space where you're trying to keep certain aspects of your pocketbook or your backpack concealed and protected from thieves too.
Okay, so you got into your business and entrepreneurship because there was a problem. You solved that problem for yourself, and then you started solving it for others too.
Yes.
Okay, so from what I've heard and from what you've told us, it appears that your business, at least your glassware business, has evolved over time. However, I am wondering, and I am pretty sure our listeners will be wondering too, what were the early stages like? What was the very first step like? What were the challenges that you had, especially coming from your background of a software analyst and just going into, making products and making classes? I feel like that's like two worlds apart.
It is. And you know what? Learning about tech packs. I did not know what a tech pack was. So, what it is you make the designs, but you have to be specific. Where you manufacture, you have to know what measurements they're using. Everybody doesn't use inches. So you have to be able to know how to convert your measurements and make your designs in a way that they can understand so that when you get your sample product, it doesn't look crazy. So, going through finding people that you can trust to manufacture your product, um, understanding delays and materials and different, different woods or different metals, knowing different leathers, different types of leather, like layers of like leather and, the difference between vegan leather and polyurethane. Like it takes a lot of research because you will waste money if you don't know what you're ordering. And I
Mm.
will tell you, I have ordered some things and got them and was like, that's not what I said. That's not what I said, but my understanding and the person that's creating its understanding has to be in one accord for you to have a tangible product. Because if you don't have good communication between your vendor and yourself, it'll be just like a complete waste of money. So you really want to have guidance and mentorship, which I didn't really have when I began, but through prayer and constant, work and research, I was able to have the people that I needed in my village to help my business to actually develop and grow. Um, and it's just a lot of faith. Like you have to be able to know that what you're doing is part of your purpose and that you are in a space to be able to not only help yourself and help others with whatever it is that you create. And that you know that as long as you are walking in that, you will always have the things and the people that you need in order for you to be successful.
Mm. Very wise words.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, so you did mention something about, doing thorough research so that the materials you're ordering are in line with what your vendor wants. So, two things I want to ask from that. The first is, and I'm sure our listeners also would want to know, what were the processes that you went through to find your vendors, at least your very first vendors? And also, how were you able to fund your business in the beginning?
So, for the vendor part, it was definitely a lot of um research, and we want to say Alibaba.
Mm-hmm.
You make friends with the different people on there, and they can connect you to other people outside of the space.
You make friends
Um,
with those selling on Alibaba.
yeah, because it's
Mm,
because now I'm going to say this is my perception of a lot of what happens on there is that a lot of those people are lightweight brokers to an extent,
mhm,
and they can find you the people to produce what you need. Once you make those relationships, you can say, "Hey, do you know somebody that makes this?" And then
mm,
they can say, "Oh yeah, try this is their email, and reach out to this person because they can help you." So I know a lot of people sometimes do business on there, and some of the businesses can be unpleasant, but you are sometimes fortunate to find people that as you do business with them, they become comfortable with you to the point where you can ask them to give you referrals to other businesses that can help you with whatever product it is that you need.
Okay. Okay, that actually makes sense. So I do not know a lot about product business, but this is this is a very good tip for those who are going into product-based business because like you said, yes, you can go to those on Alibaba and you make those connections and you build that relationship and then be able to get connected with other people that might have what you need. Uh, so what about the funding part? Because again, I feel like product-based business is so different from service-based in terms of funding. With service-based, you can go ahead and, offer your services and offer your skills and get paid. But with product-based, you have to first create that product to even be able to sell it. So I feel like it has, a lot more steps, which funding wise would then can pose a problem for someone that has little to no capital.
I'm a bootstrapper, so I literally started out with small batch, did a lot of pop-ups, did a lot of on-site things because, as a matter of fact, I did pop-ups before I even had a website. So I did a lot of just every probably 2 to 3 weekends a month. I was doing a pop-up to sell product to build my business. Even with like I said, making stuff, I made a lot of the products. Like I made the hat pins, I made the hat feathers, like a lot of things and produced myself by hand. And so that saved a lot of cost. And I made a lot of my fixtures myself. I had tables that I already had. I just kind of, you kind of look around and say, well, what do I have that I don't have to buy? You ask
Mhm,
your friends, like, girl, you using that card table? Or can I borrow your tent? Like I've had to borrow a tent, things like that because your village, they have different things that they're no longer using that, you could repurpose to help you with your business.
mhm,
So I did a lot of, I feel like it was a lot of just grassroots before I was comfortable enough to say, you know what, I'm in a great space right now. I could do a website and a
mm,
website will be okay because I can fund it every month because I'm in a better space with sales. Because the one thing you don't want to do is generate unnecessary bills. That
especially
is that is
when
definitely what you don't want to do is generate unnecessary bills and websites, Google ads, email services, blah 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 blah. As they reel you in with the it's just $29.99 a month, and then it's like, but you need this plugin, you need this plugin, and it kind of adds up. So um, I did a lot of bootstrapping and popping up. That's pretty much it. I've gotten to the space where I started out popping up in Atlanta and around Atlanta my first year. My second year, I actually started going outside the state and doing pop-ups in different cities. And then
Mm-hmm.
I just actually did my first pop-up internationally in Paris last year.
Oh, wow,
Uh,
congrats.
Thank you,
I
thank
would love
you.
to learn more about that, but mhm,
Thank you. Yeah. So now I'm working to do more international business,
mhm,
as well as national business. So I did things in phases. I didn't just kind of come out the gate like, yeah, I'm out here. I just kind of moved a little more cautiously, I think, than a lot of people because I'm a solopreneur and I just kind of wanted to get my feet wet and just feel what direction that I needed to go in.
mm. So, well, I'm going to go back to Paris. So, can you tell us a little bit more about how that opportunity came up? Because I think that's, one of the dreams for a lot of entrepreneurs to not just do business in their local city, but also to be able to do it nationally and internationally. So, how did that opportunity come about?
Well, I went to Paris for Paris Fashion Week
Mm-hmm.
and I walked the streets of Paris and had people try my glasses on. I went to different shows, had people try my glasses on, went and knocked on different doors in different eyewear places because in Paris it's a little different as far as fashion, eyewear, and things are concerned because they're more artisan based. So there are
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of big box spaces there. There's like thousands of stores of different types and there are like a lot more mom and pop stores. Like my father's father, mother's mother was an optician. So, there's a lot of heritage in different stores. In one store in particular, I went in, she liked my glasses and she was like, I think you should come and do um, the eyewear conference that we have here. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah. She was like, I know the person that's over the conference. You send him an email and let him know that you talked to me and that I suggested that you apply. And
Oh, wow.
so it was called the SEMO conference. And uh, I did an interview. They looked at my glasses and they were like, you can be in our emerging brands area. So I went to be in their emerging brands area and I actually was invited to go back again this year. So I will be returning to SEMO this year for the conference. But it was just a faith, like literally walking up to people and saying, hey, you look like an eyewear wearer. Can you try my glasses and tell me what you think? So I have reviews in French, I have them in English. I was just like, whatever, wherever you feel comfortable, whatever you
Yeah,
feel comfortable speaking. If you want to do it in French, that's fine. If you want to do it in English, that's fine. I'm okay with it. So
yeah.
that is how I got there.
Wow, that is wonderful. So I think I can't remember where I heard this saying from. Someone said that if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, you cannot be embarrassed. You
That's
cannot
right.
be, yes, you have to approach people. You have to talk to people. I mean, you just have to get out of your comfort zone and do the kind of things that you ordinarily wouldn't do because then there's
Right.
this build up and they're able to put you in spaces and in positions of, where you can maybe display your business, where your business can go higher. So I really
Mhm.
like that it wasn't like you were just sitting and waiting for an opportunity to be handed to you. You actually went there, you were, approaching people. You tried those glasses, when you tried this eyewear, and um, that's how you were able to come across this opportunity. And I am so happy for you. I am sure our listeners are very excited for you. That is amazing. That is such an amazing, amazing opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. So now, we're gonna switch gears a little bit and, talk a little bit about the hard parts of entrepreneurship. So, what were the hardest things when you started out, and even now as you're growing, that no one prepared you for?
I'm going to say being selective about where you put your business.
Mm,
Pop-ups are, before you become an entrepreneur of a product, you kind of see the pop-ups, you go, you don't go, but ultimately they're out there. When you actually are in a space where you need to intentionally sell your product, it's kind of like you you kind of don't know which ones are the ones that you should attend and which ones are the ones that you shouldn't attend.
mm,
I have been fortunate that the ones that I should have attended are few, but I did learn in the process about scoping out different venues and spaces, looking at their previous events, looking to see if any of the people that I know that I have met on my journey in the pop-up scene, to see if they've ever done it before and what their experience was. It's
mhm,
just with it all, I feel like the main thing is always going to be research,
mm,
because you could go to, like, I did a pop-up and I thought, oh well, it's fashion, I don't bags, it should be great. And it's just like that wasn't my crowd, right? So
mhm.
you have to know your crowd with your product so that you can actually move intentionally with it and not, like we talked about, like you discussed earlier, the slowing down, the not feeling like, oh, I gotta do this because I gotta be in this space when you don't even know if that space is a good fit for you. Because, with influencers and people pushing different events, a lot of people see that person and they think, oh, that's the space for me because this influencer is there and, you know, I know it's going to be great. And then that's not the case because they were just kind of a face to push the event, but it really wasn't what you thought it was. Always use your spirit influence before making moves like that you have to spend a decent amount of money on, because you don't want to waste money and time. Setting up for pop-ups is really hard, especially for us solopreneurs that have to get out tables, have to get out shelves, have to get out total product, make it look nice. You know, we have to be very intentional, not only for our product, but for our bodies, for our health, because you can hurt yourself or strain yourself and for nothing. And so you got to move with intention when you are going to do these different events so that it's worth your time and energy to be in that space.
Okay, so basically, being very careful of where you put your energy, being very careful about the events you are attending, and making sure that it is right for you. So now, starting out, I am pretty sure that there were a couple of mistakes here and there that you might have made. Can you tell us more about these mistakes and the lessons that you learned from them?
Not making a packing list.
Can you elaborate?
Yes, not making a packing list, feeling like you have everything all together from your memory,
Mhm,
but you didn't remember your business cards. You're short a table. You thought you put three tables in, but you only put two.
mhm,
Um, Arriving at an event and not having a misconception of the amount of space that you are being allotted. That's a
mm,
big one, because then you have to change your whole reconfiguration. You may have to pull product back because you thought that this is a pop-up. Usually I get a 10 by 10 space, or usually I get, 6 by 6 space, and you get there and all you got is a table and that's it. You don't have any extra space to put anything. So then you have to select product. Like, what am I gonna keep here? What do I gotta put back in the car? Like, what am I gonna do?
mhm,
Those types of things prepared me to learn how to pack, learn how to pack a setup that is convertible, so that if I take in one tote or two totes, um, I can make that work. If I do need extra product, it's out in the car and I can go get it. arriving early, being
Mhm.
there earlier than what they say. Don't
Yeah.
say they say you can show up at 8 o'clock. You should be there at 7:30, because
Mhm.
that is going to be your parking. That's going to be your ability to get registered and get to your space in a timely
Mhm.
manner, and also allow for you not to have to rush to unpack and set up because you've gotten there early enough to where you can pull in, get your stuff out, and still have time to configure. If you need to remove stuff, put stuff back, you still have time before it's time for it to start, and you're not frazzled by the time you get customers like, oh my gosh, I'm still setting up stuff. Oh no, type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good advice because so as I said, I am not in the product space, but I have helped a couple of friends before set up, their pop-up for events and stuff. And one of the things that we had to learn was literally getting there very early because, as you said, there's parking, there's walking back and forth, there's the registration, there's, oh my God, I forgot this. I need to go get this. There are all of these things that could happen. Um, and when you arrive quite early, it's like you're adequately prepared for whatever incidents that could occur. And if nothing happens, that's fine and good. That's time to, just rest a little bit before things actually start and people, come to look at your product. So that's, yeah, I really like that. I like that advice. Um,
Thank you.
okay, so now, as we're rounding up, I am going to ask you this question because I'm pretty sure that a lot of us entrepreneurs, there have been a lot of times we've thought about this. So, was there ever a moment when you questioned if entrepreneurship was for you?
Yes. Actually, I before I went to Paris,
Mm.
it was like if it could happen, it could happen. It literally was a situation where I was like fighting for my little entrepreneurial spirit, because I had all of these goals and aspirations of what it was supposed to look like, this magical adventure that I was taking my business on. And from having issues with my passport to, having issues with um my flight, like it was just so many things happening. And oh my gosh, shipping my booth to Paris,
Yeah,
girl, I had 3 suitcases. My booth was in the suitcases because I was like, oh, I'm going to use Delta. They have this thing where I could just ship my
mhm.
stuff and pick it up. Oh, they didn't tell you? Oh, you have to go through this other process before we could even set you up. And I was just like, 2 days before it was time to go, I was like, but how long does it take? Oh, it's a couple weeks. I'm like, I don't have a couple weeks. The lady said all I needed to do was this and then just call you all to schedule. Well, she was wrong. I'm just like, what do I do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fold this rug up. I'm going to break these shelves down. And I am going to hope that I do not become a meme as I try to push all of these things through the. So that right there was like, I feel like that was like a pivotal moment in
Yeah.
my in my entrepreneur career. Like, am I really built for this? Like, I really had to have a pity party, because I was like, I've paid the money to be there, I've bought and reserved and done all the things,
Mhm.
and now I don't even know how I'm gonna get my booth there. Like, how is this
Yeah.
even going to happen? So I had to really sit with myself and really pray hard, because that is when your business is being tested, your faith is being tested. Because like I said
Yeah.
before, this is you're walking in your purpose. You're investing everything, not only financially, but physically, but emotionally and spiritually
Eventually.
into
Hmm.
this. This is your baby. And to have your baby, that's just like your child is supposed to graduate, and you get to the school the week before and they say, well, he didn't pass this exam or she didn't pass this exam, so we don't know if they're gonna be able to walk next week. Excuse me. So
Yeah.
we gonna take the exam this afternoon? Because this is not gonna happen. So it's
Mhm.
just kind of one of those things where, I really had to pray really hard about it,
Mhm.
because I had put so much into it. And when I prayed and again, like we said earlier, slowed down, looked at the full picture of things, breathed, you know, think about your options, even if you have to write, like but the key to it all is slowing down. Cause
Mhm.
I speedball through a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like one of the people that's just like, but that moment I had to be present. And not only did I have to be present, I had to be present and I had to be tactical and I had to be efficient with my thoughts because a lot was riding on that trip. And
Mm.
once I did that, it became clear, girl, I'm gonna need you to go to Marshall's and I'm gonna need you to buy a 30-inch, measure all your stuff, and I need you to buy two 30-inch check bags, fold that rug up, take all them shelves and break them all down, take your
Mhm.
little heads, and that can go in one suitcase, and put your clothes in the other, and make it happen. And that's what I did. And I was able to carry and pack up everything. And now, unfortunately, because of course, it is the place of fashion and they have all of the things that you can buy, and came back with four suitcases. So and I was graced by the presence of a very kind man who saw me struggling trying to push two carts through
Mhm.
the airport. Again, praying that I did not become a meme. And he helped me to my gate.
That's that's very funny. Oh my God. Yeah, no, but that's the thing, right? I feel like that's the thing about entrepreneurship. You figure out a way, you meet a roadblock, you figure out another way, you meet another roadblock, and you just keep figuring it out and keep climbing. It's like a game, right? There are different
Mhm.
levels. You just
Different levels, definitely.
Yes, when you're just starting out, maybe it's just register your LLC. You go and register it. Then it's get your license. You get your license. Then it's learning about sales. You start learning, and before you know it, all these other things are hitting you. But I think of it as a game. I
Yeah, it is. It literally is. It's like that game we used to play, like Frogger, where you had to jump. You have to go jump
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
always it's always something that you have to jump over. But then you got to be careful because you might miss a goal thing where you can jump on and get points.
Mhm.
So you just kind of, you just
Yeah.
got to work through it.
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting and funny story. But I'm really, really glad that you're able to pull through and look at you now, you're going back to
Thank
Peru.
you.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. So as we close, one of the things I wanted to say is I wanted to talk a little more about our community, Bell Sisters, which is a safe, intentional community for women navigating business. And, if you're listening to this and you've been craving genuine sisterhood and honest and fun conversations like this, and a place where you don't have to figure everything out alone, Bell Sisters exists for you. So you can just go to our website and choose the membership that works for you. Just learn more about us and, join us whenever it feels aligned for you. And now, and now to our amazing guest. Oh, Cedrica. Your stories, they're basically I love listening to them. I've loved having you on this show. I want to say
You.
thank you for being part of this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate Bell Sisters for giving me this opportunity to share my story with your community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. This is why conversations like this matter. And I will see you all in the next episode.